Have you ever wondered how you convert a smaller line drawing that you may have been given as part of a tutorial or you've created yourself and convert it into a larger outline that you can use to create a larger piece of work? In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can do that. So stick around and we'll get started. Okay, so if I type in Acrobat Reader in Google, so the one that I want is Adobe Acrobat free PDF viewer. That's the one I want. So I'm going to click onto that one. And then I'm going to download the reader. Okay, so once you've got your Adobe Acrobat Reader downloaded onto your computer, just open the PDF. You can it'll either go straight into your Acrobat or you might need to say open with the Acrobat. But once you've got it into the Acrobat, you've got two options. You can either go to menu here and click print from there, and you can see you've got the print screen come up, or you can click onto the little icon up here and that will also pull up exactly the same screen for you, and you can see it there ready to print. Depending on which country you're in and depending on how your printers are set up, you might just want to at this stage go to properties. If you're in America or somewhere that perhaps uses letter size paper instead of A4 paper, what you want to do is just click onto the little drop down menu. It'll probably default to that if it's in your country anyway, but you can obviously switch your paper. Whatever you've got, we just keep ours set on A4. So let's just cancel out of that one. So once you've set your paper to whatever size paper you actually want it for your country, you want to go to poster. Once you've clicked on to poster, there are a couple of boxes that come up here. There's tile scale, which at the minute is set at 100%. That's where we're going to increase or decrease the size of the drawing. So it's set at 100% at the minute. If that was 10 inches high, but we wanted to make that 12 inches high, we'd set that at 120% because obviously 12 inches is 120% of the current 10 inches. So we'd put that there. And if we wanted to go from 10 to 8 inches, for instance, we put that to 80% and reduce it down. So any figure that you put in there that is higher than 100 is going to enlarge it, and any figure that you put in there that's less than 100 is going to decrease the size of it. So the only other thing to note is that the software will print your PDF, it will print your drawing as large as you want it to go. At the minute, the horse is being printed over 2 pages. We've got 2 A4 pages there. If we wanted to print this horse 10 times bigger than it already is, so I enter a figure there of 1000%, because obviously 1000 is 10 times larger than 100. It will change it so that it prints it across 120 pages, and each one of these pages is an A4 size. That's how large, once you've cut and paste that together, that's how large you could print that horse if you wanted to perhaps, you know, put that onto a wall or something. If we wanted to make it 300% larger than the original drawing, you can see there it will go across 15 pages, and this figure here will give you the new dimensions for the overall size. So here we've got 35 inches by 41 inches. So you could make that as big or as small as you wanted. You could even make it 2000%. And you can see there it would be over 435 pages and it would be absolutely massive. So at the minute when this prints, it's going to print across 2 pages, and that's where the edge of each paper is going to be. It's going to go right across the middle of the face there. So what we want to do to make it easier to cut and stick together before we put graphite pencil on the back and trace it is just to create a little bit of an overlap. So we want a tiny bit of an overlap from this top piece to actually print on the bottom page, and we want a tiny little bit of the bottom page to print on the top page. So this is where the overlap comes in. We put in a 1-inch overlap. So putting a 1-inch overlap there just means that we get 1 inch of the drawing on this side prints on page 2, and we get 1 inch of this drawing prints on page 1. So once you've got your tile scale to whatever size you want, you've got 1 inch overlap, just press print, and that will now be sent to your printer across 2 pages, or as many pages as it takes. It will automatically put it across as many pages as it needs, depending on how big or small you want your line drawing to print out at. So here's the line drawing printed across 2 sheets of horizontal A4 paper. You can see that we have got a little bit of this line drawing on this side. You can see the bottom bit of the eye there is coming out on this side. And again, we've got a bit of this side on here, and that makes it easier now to line up the sheets of paper and make sure that it's all lined up ready for putting down onto our art paper. The first thing that I'll do to line it up is, we've got this margin, you can see the margin along here, and I'm going to take that off. So I'm just going to take that off with a guillotine or a knife, doesn't really matter. I'm just going to use a craft knife, and I'm just going to slice across the edge of that paper. Take off that margin that comes out on the printer, and that makes it easier now to line up the top and the bottom parts of the paper. You can see you may need to take it to a window, if you need to take it to a window, so that you can actually see through both pieces of paper, or a light box, something that will shine through, the light shines through, so you can see both pieces of paper. Because I've taken that margin off, I find it's easier now to line up where I want to line it up, and I probably use a bit of the I can see I've got the dot there, and I can see I've got the top bit of the little buckle there, so I'm just going to line that up there, make sure that's nice and lined up. I'm also lining the edge. I don't know if you can see that, there's a little spot right on the edge, and I know that that goes right on the bottom of the eye there, so I'm going to twist it until it lines up nice and neatly. Lined the bottom part of the little keeper there with the bottom part of that. That's all lined up nice and neatly. There we go. That's about it. Might have to hold it and just twist it, and I might need to bring it over a little bit so that everything lines up. But I'm quite happy there that that's quite a good match now with the bit that's lined up. So I've got the 2 bits of the line drawing stuck together. The only problem is that here, where it crosses over, we've got quite an overlap of paper there. It's much harder, or it will be much harder, to transfer all of these lines that are on that overlap, because you're having to sort of press through 2 pieces of paper when you come to trace the line drawing down on your art paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over, and this bit here, that is the overlap, I just don't need that overlap. I don't need that line drawing there because it's already on the top one. So I'm going to fold it back. I'm just going to get rid of as much of it as I can, fold it across, crease that so that that's folded across, and I can just get rid of that. I can just literally take that off, cut it with some scissors, cut it with a craft knife, it doesn't really matter. I'll just take it off with my ruler, but you could take it off with a craft knife, scissors, whatever works for you. I've got a nice crease there, so I know I'm not going to rip that. And then when I turn it back over, I've got less of an overlap now, which means the bit that's coming across here over this overlap, I've not got quite as much. And where I've got the overlap bit, I'll just have to press a little bit harder to make sure the line drawing goes down. I'm just going to stick it again, make sure it's not going to move when I come to put the line drawing down onto the drawing, and I'm just going to stick it where there's no line drawing. I'm just sticking it in the gaps, and again, that's because otherwise when I come to, if I was to stick it there and I needed to go over that line, again, it's just adding another thickness, so it means it's not going to transfer very well down onto the line, onto your art paper. And that's it. That's a larger line drawing that we've printed across 2 sheets of A4 paper. You could print it across as many sheets of paper as you want to print it across, make it as large or as small as you want. We've resized the PDF, and we have printed it to the size that we want for our artwork. And there we go. There's the final piece of artwork from line drawing that we've resized to the actual final piece of art. And if you want to follow along with the complete tutorial for this horse, you can find that over in the art membership or over on Patreon. And so there you go. Really hope that that's been helpful. If you've got any questions, let me know. If you've enjoyed this mini tutorial, then hit that like button and subscribe for more tips and tutorials. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.